Hey, everybody, and happy new year. We are in 2026. We made it to another year. We bless God for that. Amen.
Yes,
I'm just blessed to be back with my guy, Mr. Long. What's up, man? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you and Happy New Year to all our listeners, everyone that's watching the show, everyone that has been supporting the podcast. We thank God for you and we say Happy New Year. And I'm excited about this episode number 9 ent-
Episode number 9.
entitled Cash Flow Faith. And what does that look
Episode
like?
number 9. Well, here it is. When you are in business, you have to have cash flow faith
Mm,
unless you are rich already, unless you got an enormous amount of money, you hit the lottery, or you
right.
somebody donated uh, hundreds of thousands of dollars to your idea, or you got investors. I'm talking about cash flow faith is something that you have to have when you are an entrepreneur or when you are trying to start a business. Period. Most entrepreneurs
I,
won't say it out loud. They won't say it out loud, but many are leading people, paying bills, making decisions while while the money is and the numbers are uncomfortable, right?
wow.
And this episode speaks directly to that pressure, plain and simple.
So how do you get to a place where you have cash flow faith? Because a lot of times when people are starting businesses, the money is not there. They have a saying that my money is funny and credit won't get it. So how do you get to that place?
Well, well, you can't panic. You know what I'm saying? You can't panic because when you don't have the money, you gotta have faith and you gotta have a vision so strong that you're
Hmm.
not gonna let money stop you, right? Because if you think about it, you can't panic when you don't have the money. You gotta act like it's there. And how do you act like it's there? You keep on moving because everything in your business doesn't require money.
Right.
Everything in your business require your time and your perseverance to keep pushing in spite of money. So the first thing I would tell everybody, don't panic, adjust,
Hmm.
right? Because when you panic, when you don't have money, it causes you to make a bad decision, right? And in
I
in,
get
in,
you.
in tight in tight seasons with money, you have to have clarity, not so much emotions. You can't get all emotional. You know what I'm saying? You can't get all emotional about it because guess what? It's going to come. You just got to keep on having clarity of what your vision is for your business or what your vision is for what you're doing, that you thinking about the money because you need the money to buy the equipment or you need the money to buy, pay your rent or whatever. You're thinking about it, but the thing about it is a lot of times people saying, "Well, how am I gonna pay my rent if I'm not making any money?" Well, can I ask you, what did you do that day that is going to push you towards money? Because like a lot of people don't know how to do social media, right? But I'm in an area where there's a lot of houses by my establishments, right?
Right.
So the flyers that I printed out months ago, I need to get up early in the morning
Hmm.
and put flyers on everybody's cars, their doors, their mailboxes. I got to do whatever it takes. That's called guerrilla marketing. I might can't pay for a Facebook ad, but I got 1,000 flyers in my box here. I'm gonna go out and hit 500 houses. I'm gonna go out and hit 200 houses. I'm gonna go out and sit at the light, and when the light change, I'm gonna hand everybody a flyer. It's so much you can do without money to build your business. It's so much you can do, and everybody is looking at money to build their business, but you have to look at everything other than money when you don't have it. Like, okay, if you was at the stoplight, right? This
Uh-huh.
called guerrilla marketing, right? If you at the stoplight and you got 500 flyers, Every time that light, if think about this, if somebody can bum for money at the stoplight,
Right.
right, and you got flyers in your pocket, you mean to tell me that you can't go to the stoplight and do the same thing a bum is doing, but giving people your vision, giving people
Hmm.
your information, giving people your business hours, giving people your website, right?
Right.
That's cash flow faith right there. You understand what I'm
Wow.
saying? You're doing everything you can to bring the money in. That's called cash flow faith. A lot of people saying,
That's
"What I'm gonna do?" You got people out there selling water on the corner. You got the Muslims selling bean pies. You not If you don't have the money, you got to use cash flow faith. Take your flyers, take a product, take a sample, whatever. Go to a
mhm,
busy stoplight near your business and hand out flyers. Boom, boom, boom. That costs you absolutely what? Nothing.
nothing. Wow.
Nothing.
That's that old school promotion back right there. Back
Old
in,
school.
I'm telling you, back in the day, me and my buddy Bobby, we used to have this entertainment company called Keeping It Moving Entertainment,
Uh huh.
and we were everywhere putting flyers.
Yeah.
Every sub shop we had flyers there. We would give away because I used to be a party promoter,
Mm-hmm.
so I used to give away free tickets, but that was just to get the good look.
Mm-hmm.
But you would have to use the free ticket before 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So about time 10 o'clock gets there, you got to line all the way down 3, 4 blocks. So
Mm-hmm.
then we can set our price. All right, it's $40 now.
Mm-hmm. Think about this.
He was
On
paying that 40, and
And they did it. They did it too, didn't they? But 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 think about this. Here's cash flow faith. I can do a 9.99 Sunday dinner meal at the
uh-huh.
Wing Wagon, right? It's 20 churches within 6 blocks, left or right of the Wing Wagon.
Yes, it is.
20 churches. 20 churches, right? I could do a flyer for 9.99.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get flyers now cheap. That don't cost you a lot of money. I can do a 9.99 Sunday meal. I can put it on every last car in a six
Yep.
block radius at every church, right? Now, if that catches on, I told you chicken is at this lowest rate right now. I'm just talking about the things that I could do to make money.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has this same opportunity to do and think the same way that I'm thinking
That's
cash
right.
flow faith with doing paying maybe 50 bucks in flyers or whatever. Get a
Mm-hmm.
family member to go with you, get a cousin, get somebody to go with you, and put all the flyers on every church within a 6 block radius. It's
Mm-hmm.
20 churches within a 6 block radius. Sunday dinner, fried chicken, greens, a biscuit, macaroni and cheese, and a soda for 9.99. Two sides, 3 pieces of chicken for 9.99. If I sell 100 of those every Sunday, that's $1,000.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? That's $1,000 on top of the regular people that's coming in. I
That's
mean,
right.
so cash problems don't mean bad leadership. It doesn't mean whatever. I mean, it's just bad. It's just you don't have the cash. Every successful business has had a tight season. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Lack does Listen, very important. Lack doesn't cancel the vision. I mean,
Right.
and here it is. I mean, for those who believe in God like I do, God tests stewardship before expansion.
You got to repeat that for the ones in the
God
back.
God tests stewardship before expansion. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Can you handle what I'm about to give you? Can you handle the success of going to do guerrilla marketing at a busy stoplight. Can you handle the success? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I mean, and then for the believers, you know, God funds what He authorized, right?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get all spiritual because I know some people that might not be, you know, but you believe in something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You believe in a higher power, man. It's authorized, and when it's authorized, if He gave you the vision, He'll provide the provisions.
That's right. Now
Plain and simple.
I'm gonna ask you this question. How imperative and important is it for you to believe so strongly in your vision when you present it to someone else who may have the funds to grant favor and release those funds to you to
I'm
help with
glad you.
your cash flow?
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. They have to see you doing things. They have to see you doing the exact thing we talking about, having
Uh-huh.
cash flow faith. Because if they don't see you believing in your vision or your business when you didn't have nothing, how can they believe in it?
Right.
So you have to be so strong in it that they find you 9 o'clock at night cleaning something, uh,
Hmm.
washing dishes, frying chicken, washing clothes in the laundromat, stocking the hardware store, getting everything ready for the next day. What time did you get here? I got here at 6 o'clock this morning because I didn't have the money, but I had the vision and I could do things without money. They got to see you building without money. They got to see you building with a shoestring budget. They got to see that what you have, just like it says, what happens is you got to understand that it requires much is given to whom to uh, how does it go? Um,
To whom much is
much is
given, much
much
is
is required.
required.
So they got to see that whatever is given without the money, that you're doing much more than what you have, and what you're doing much more than what money you have. You see what I'm saying? So
That's
they got
right.
to know that you're working without nothing. And then they got to see, man, if I gave them $10,000, what more could they do with that?
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So they got to see the drive and the desire in you, that you're not begging and that you're not going to take their $10,000 and squander it. Because if they can see you making miracles out of 1,000, they can see you hustling and marketing with no Facebook, and you out on the street and you doing what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And you got signs up every time a car come past. Hey, fried chicken, $1 wings today, or
Uh-huh.
or or at the hardware store, we selling screws by the pound. We got a special on screws by the pound, 2.99 a pound. You know what I'm saying? Or we got a blockbuster on salt. You know what I'm saying? Ice
Right.
melt. You know what I'm saying? They gotta see you. They gotta see you going above and beyond what your means look like. Just like they say, you know what I'm saying? Just because you don't have the money, you don't have to dress like a bum.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, but like I said, if it's for you, and if it's a good business, it's going to get authorized. You're going to make it through if it's a good business. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Every business is not a good business, and everybody is not capable of doing every business they dream.
Right. I agree.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's not a match. It's a thought, but it's not a match. You understand what I'm saying? I listen. I had landscaping equipment, but I wasn't built to do landscape.
Mm.
I said every spring, I said, man, my yard gonna be the best yard on it. And I start cutting the grass. Then you know what? Two cuts in, I got somebody else cut my grass because I said,
Uh-huh.
man, this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know what's for you before you spend a whole lot of money or somebody else's money and it doesn't work. You know,
Wow.
doesn't work. And that's the scary part, you know what I'm saying? Because once you get somebody money, they gonna want their money back.
I definitely agree with that. And I'm gonna ask you another question. I know today we're talking cash flow faith. Now we know that you have many successful businesses, and also to get to that point, there had to be a point where there wasn't no cash flow. But
Yeah.
how were you able to keep the faith and persevere and keep going?
I don't want to go too deep in this, but I will say this: assets, and I'm gonna go answer that question. Let me answer that question. How I kept going because I've started a lot of business and I wasted money in a lot of business. So when I'm cash strapped, I sell something that is not working for one of these businesses I
Uh-huh.
have now. Because I done had it all. I done had lawnmowers. I done had weed whackers. I done had snowball machines. I done had everything. And so
Right.
now I got all this stuff that I'm not even using. So sometimes when I get strapped in cash or whatever, I got all this surplus stuff that I'm not even using. So I can sell that off or whatever.
Right.
But I want to say something very important. But once you get to the point where you are getting really good at business, you have to build your assets in that business. So
Hmm.
when you have the assets and times get hard, you can borrow against the assets. See, the thing about it is when you really become successful, you have assets. And the assets will keep you going because you can keep on flipping, refinancing,
Right.
selling, borrowing off those assets. And you only borrow off the assets in a sense where you know that when you borrowing, say for instance, I built a hardware store, right?
Uh-huh.
It's okay for me to borrow to build a hardware store because the hardware store will become an asset later because guess what? I have over $30,000 of inventory in the hardware store, right? So
Right.
now I know that I have assets. I can always sell my way out of the hole.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I can use another asset to build the hardware store business. So I can leverage one of my properties, right?
Right.
Get that money, but the properties that I would leverage is already making money to make sure that it can pay for whatever I take off of.
Right.
So that's why you have to build your asset inventory. So that way you don't have once you get to that point where you didn't worked it up, where you got your cash flow going, right? I ain't talking about cash flow faith now. I'm talking about real cash flow where
Right.
you can see cash flow and you can see assets and you can build off of the assets that you have. You understand what I'm saying? So now I can literally build from my assets that I have. So if I have a building, I don't know, my thing is kind of doing crazy. So if I have a building, now I can literally get money off that building, which is an asset, to build another business.
Right.
Or to put my money back into my pocket that I spent on the last business. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear
So
you.
if I so if I built so if I built this hardware store, the money that I use from the hardware store, now I can start putting that money back because I borrowed it from another asset. So that's why I
Right.
tell people, you know, a lot of people go out and get big rents for their dream. Instead of getting big rents for your dream, find cheap property to buy and build them as assets for you.
Hmm.
You understand
That
what I'm
makes
saying?
sense.
Make them assets for you. You know, and it could because the thing about it is, if you got a $5,000 lease in a shopping center, right?
Hmm.
That means you got to make $20,000 a month just to pay your bills.
Yep.
So if you in a shopping center and you got to pay $5,000 a month for rent, you got insurance, you got employees, you
Yeah.
got product you got to sell. You got
BG&E,
BG&E, War. I mean, you know what I'm saying. And
it's a
then
lot.
in
Yeah.
some places they got this thing called CAM charges. That's that thing where they shoveling the snow for you, cutting the
Oh yeah.
grass, the
Hmm.
common areas. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother bill. You feel me? So you got to make 20,000 to pay your bills before you pay yourself. So I tell
Wow.
people, instead of, especially when you're in a city like Baltimore, Philly, in certain areas of Philly, certain areas of Baltimore, uh, you know, major urban cities, you can find cheap stuff to buy. I mean, it's getting harder. Don't
Right.
get that twisted. It's getting harder now. The gap is closing. That's why I tell people, when you have property in a city like this, in an urban city, when you see new construction going around, old construction, they're putting $400,000 houses 3 blocks from Penn North.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because remember, property don't grow back. Land don't grow back.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you got land and property, it doesn't grow back. It ain't like a forest where you cut down a tree and it grows back. Land and property don't grow back. You know,
Wow.
it, it they knock a building down, they put another one back, but they have that property. You know, yep. So that's where we are tonight, man. Just understanding that to get to the point when you strapped in cash, you got to do everything that you can without cash to bring in cash.
That's right. And from what I'm hearing, as we're talking about cash flow faith, I see like a pattern, like a three-step pattern.
Mm-hmm.
First, you have to have the cash flow faith.
Mm-hmm.
Then then once you have that, then you get to the cash flow. So what is the next step after you have the cash flow? The money's coming in, you kept the faith and all that. I'm not trying to preach, but you kept
No,
the
no, no.
faith and you kept pushing and persevering, and you have the cash flow.
So
So
the
what
next
is the
step,
next step?
is building your asset.
Uh huh.
So you never get into the place where you don't have a revolving cash flow. Because remember, when you buy a building, you can refinance it. You can
Right.
get hard money off of it. You can rent it out. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because you gotta have an asset, and once you start building your assets, then you don't have to worry about cash flow because now every asset that I have is a revolving cash flow.
Wow.
Point blank. You
That's
know,
good stuff
I can
right
get
there.
I can get 50,000 off any property that I own, and you don't have to go that you can go hard money.
Right.
It might be like I got a hard money lender right now. He's 16%. A bank with decent credit probably still charge you 10.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, ain't too many people getting six and sevens unless, especially not for a commercial property and different things like that. Because, I mean, unless you got really good credit, and yeah, you got really good
Right.
credit, and but hard money right now is at 16%. 5 years, you know, people buying cars, people buying cars off the lot, paying 8, 9 to $1,000 for a new car, and that's going to depreciate as soon as you get it off the lot. So why not
Yeah.
go and buy a building? A building that's going to be a cash producing building, an asset that maybe you got apartment on the top and a retail at the bottom, or 3 units or 2 units that can make money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how you got to look at it. You got to look at everything as an opportunity to build wealth, whatever you do. But the thing about it is, a new car doesn't build wealth.
Right.
I seen a guy. He just bought an Escalade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him get in and stunting a little bit, right? And I'm saying to myself, man, I can get an Escalade if I want, but I'd rather get another asset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather get another asset. And if I want an Escalade next year, this year, next month, next week, I can go get one. But that's not where I'm at. I'm in the asset business so I can always have cash flow. because now I've been through cash flow faith where I had to put my faith with my with what I really wanted. I had to because I mean, if you understand faith you can't see it. You gotta have it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Right.
know it's there. You know, you gotta know it's there. And I act like it was there. I did some hard hustling. I did some hard hustling that I ain't want to do. But guess what? I had to, man, I ain't care who saw me out there passing out flyers at every stoplight. You know what I'm saying? Every red light. I didn't care about that because I understood that it went from cash flow faith to cash flow to assets that always going to keep my cash flowing.
That's right.
Good God Almighty.
And what you just said was very key. It was very important. You said you put in the work. It may have been some work that you didn't want to put in, but you put in the work, and you had that with your faith. Because the
Yeah,
Bible tells us that faith without works
it's
is
dead.
dead. Because we can want it all day, but if we ain't putting no work in, it's not going to happen.
I
I
mean, plain and
know
simple.
on episode 2, you told us to just start. I
Man,
asked you what was one of the key things of getting your business started. You just said start.
that's it.
And that's what we have to do. And that starting is putting in the work.
That's it. I mean, and a lot of times people don't want to start because they scared, you know. And I mean, we talked about fear. We talked about being scared. I mean, you can't be scared.
Right.
Then then it's just a thought. You know what I'm saying? It's a thought with a headache. It's a thought with butterflies in your stomach and you knowing you're not gonna do anything about it. You just having a panic attack for nothing and you ain't even started this.
Right. Because faith and fear cannot coexist. They
They
cannot
can't, man.
coexist.
They can't. They can't. You know,
Now,
they
for
can't.
someone who was watching on today, and if they wanted to get you to mentor them, to help, them to get started,
All
so
they
they
could
can learn more about the cash flow faith and what that
hey,
is. How can
here
they
it
get in
is.
contact with you?
Here it is. lcwhiteinvest.com or lcwhite@gmail.com. And for those who have my number, send me a text. That's pretty much it. And I'm ready. I am ready to help you build your business. I'm ready to give you ideas. I'm ready to give you strategies. I'm ready to show you what I've done. I'm ready to show you that you don't have to fail because I already failed. I'm here to show you that you don't have to buy and spend all this money on the internet because guess what? The people on the internet, you can't really touch their businesses. You can't really touch their success, but you can touch my success and you can see my failures. So
That's right.
with that being with that being said, you don't need the blueprint when you have the white print. 2026, let's get it. Let's go. Until we meet again, Mr. Long.
Holla at your boys. We out. White print. This was episode 9. We'll see y'all next week for episode 10. Thank y'all so
Let's
much for the
get it.
support. And we
Y'all be
out.
good. All
God
right.
bless.
Peace.